This is the 3 p.m. Takeover, Radio Northern Beach's only drive-home show.
Keep it right here for a whole hour of fresh hits and entertainment for your Wednesday afternoon.
Here we go.
This is Straight Lines by Silverchair.
This is the 3 p.m. Takeover with Hope and Victoria on Radio Northern Beaches, 88.7 and 90.3. Welcome to the best hour of your Wednesday/week.
The best hour ever. So, I was reading The Strangest Thing in the newspaper the other day. It was one of those whole, like, I know they bring it up kind of every so often, but it was the whole what's acceptable to wear on a plane. And it got me thinking, because I've got a bit lazy as I've got older and I dress for comfort really often. But when I was younger, my parents always taught me to like dress nicely on planes.
Really?
Yeah, because it was saying, and because you always get upgraded if you dress nicely.
Really? I don't think I've ever been upgraded.
Do you dress nicely?
I dress like appropriately, like, but comfortably.
Yeah, like as a child, I always dressed like quite nicely, and my
Depends how long
parents
the
would
flight
look
is.
nice. Yeah,
Like if it's like a 14-hour flight, I'm not putting effort in. No one's looking at me.
No,
If it's like an hour flight, I'll look nice.
yeah, no, I always had to look nice on planes as a kid. Like I remember it being a thing. But yeah, it was a whole thing saying that like looking sloppy on planes is like not allowed, and airlines are going to start outlawing like hoodies and leggings and slippers and stuff on planes and pajamas.
Oh, do I wear leggings? I don't remember. I do. I've got these leggings that look kind of like jeans.
Oh,
Have you
clever.
Have you ever sat
Jeggings?
for... No, but they're not jeggings because they're kind of... If you look closer, they're not jeans.
Oh, okay.
But they're that pattern that like from far away, you're like, oh, denim. But it's not denim.
So tricky.
But have you ever sat on a 14-hour flight in jeans?
Yeah.
Have you sat for 10 minutes in jeans? It hurts at the back of the knees. Like that, I can't do that for 14 hours, no matter how good the movie is in the tiny, tiny screen in front of me.
No,
Doesn't distract from the pain behind the back of my legs.
That's true. No, I always used to wear jeans on flights.
Yeah, when I was younger I did, but when
But now I don't.
I don't know what age it was, but suddenly I remember being like, why would I sit in these for hours?
Yeah.
That's not comfortable.
Often what I will do now is I will get on in like jeans and I'll bring like
And you'll get changed.
harem pants or pajama pants and
Yeah.
I'll, like put them on
Yeah.
mid-flight.
Yeah, I do that.
But isn't that interesting? Like planes are actually going to like outlaw sloppy looking people and like no thongs are allowed.
But
on
like,
planes.
why?
I don't know. Just a thing.
It's not like there's some standard they have to live up to. It's not like people aren't being endangered by wearing leggings over jeans. I don't understand what the point is.
Couldn't you evacuate the plane faster in leggings anyway? Like if there was an emergency?
There's more movement. You can like lunge down that hallway.
Like, your jeans might be restricting when you have to jump out of the plane.
Like I kind of get it with thongs, but wouldn't heels, which is I guess a more formal thing, if they have to do the little rampy slides in the thing, they're always like, make sure you remove heels. So surely not wearing heels and therefore being less formal would be safer in an emergency situation.
Who has heels on planes though?
I see them all the time on long haul flights, and they're just like
Long haul flights?
like they take them off, but like to go on and off the plane, I'm like, why don't you like living and being comfortable?
I would wear wedges on like an hour flight if I was like going straight to something formal.
Yeah.
But, like, ugh. No, I wear like runners on planes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I
soft
wear.
shoes.
Yeah, what do I wear? Well, it depends. If I'm going to a cold country, I'm usually wearing like the one pair of boots I'll be wearing everywhere because they're like waterproof.
True.
Yeah, and you got to bring like socks because my feet always freeze on airplanes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I
I
wear
always
pants.
layer up on like I bring those things that are like half socks, half slippers.
Yeah,
You know the big fluffy socks that have like grip things on the bottom.
Yes.
But it's true. But they were saying they were looking for airlines were looking for a push more like RSLs where yes, it's a casual environment, but you're showing respect for the activity by like looking nicer. And I was like,
Respect for the activity.
know.
What is respectful about sitting in a chair and watching 6 movies in a row while everyone is like asleep around you with neck pillows? Are they going to
That's
start
true.
being like, that neck pillow isn't formal enough?
I don't know. I think remember
That plaid pattern is not quite formal. We need to have a little bit of
more.
little bit of a trim going on.
I think like initially, like when planes first became like commercial and people catching them, people would always dress nicely because it was considered like a privilege to fly. I will wear comfy clothes these days.
I'd rather be comfortable. If fashion is pain, then I would rather be unfashionable. Thank you very much.
Fashion is what? Pain. As I
Haven't
say
you heard
fashion.
that?
No, because I was about to say fashion is plain, as in like the airplane. That doesn't work.
Fashion is pain. More like fashion is plain.
We'll be right back after this on the 3 p.m. Takeover. You're listening to the 3 p.m. Takeover on Radio Northern Beaches. That was Years and Years with Shine. And we were talking about what is and is not acceptable to wear on planes. And that was just one of the many like strange things that I read in the news this week. But
Do you have some others?
I do. So I was reading something where it was talking about the Australian School of Etiquette, which I had heard of. And they were saying there's been a big move lately for boys going to etiquette classes, whereas originally it was more of like a girls thing. And
I've always wanted to go to like finishing school.
Yeah.
Because this sounds really like up myself, but I think I'd be really good at it. Because yes, I can be kind of like sloppy. When I have to be, I can be really good.
When you have to be, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I would kind of ace finishing
That's the most
school.
important thing, like as long as you can be good. But it's getting really popular for like primary school aged boys to go to finishing school.
How specific?
Yeah, and mums are saying, you know, they want their sons to learn good skills that will get them through teenage years as good guys and make them grow up as like men that women want to be around. And I was like, that's quite cool. And so there was a little list in this article of 5 things that boys who are like 10 to 15 should be learning at like etiquette school, what they would learn if they went there.
Are they like very male specific, or are they kind of like they could go across both genders?
All except one could be like
okay, so
gender neutral. So the first one, it sounds simple, but it is important, is just everyday manners. So pleases and thank yous, but also when to use them, how to use them, and how much is like too much or like the wrong time to say please and thank you.
That's really good, because even like teaching your kids like please and thank you, if it's like overused, you're like, well, you clearly don't really know what you're saying.
Yeah, or just when it's like a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I don't need that much, thanks.
Yeah.
I get it, I'm great, but you know, relax it. Things like
dial it back a notch. So things like thanking the bus driver, big yes. You should.
People that don't thank bus drivers.
Yeah, I'm like, what, were you raised in a barn? Thank the person offering you a service.
Raised
like,
in a barn.
Damn, like that really annoys me when people don't thank the bus driver.
Yeah, and then people that have that attitude that, well, if they're paying for it, why should they thank the person? I'm like, well, it's still nice.
Yeah.
So the second one was the art of conversation. They should be able to listen to a question, make sure to ask one back, keep the conversation flowing, and learn how to strike up casual chat with a stranger.
That second point is the most important thing in the whole entire world. I'm yet to properly meet a nice guy who asks a question back.
Yeah,
feel like-
small talk is a bit of a thing with men.
I feel like every time I talk to a guy, you ask them a question, they answer it, and you have to be like, you have to answer the question as if they asked you, but they didn't.
Yeah. You have to be like, oh, well, with me, blah, blah, blah.
And then guys have this perception that girls talk about themselves all the time. It's like, it's because you don't ask questions back. We have to like talk about ourselves rather than answer questions about ourselves.
Because otherwise it's awkward and they're like, so I know nothing about you. And you're like, well, you didn't ask.
Yeah. Don't be selfish. Ask questions. Conversation's a two-way street.
Yeah, it's really good. And the third one was grooming. So this is kind
Is
of like
hygiene tied into that?
no, actually, but it's kind of like what we talked about last
Deodorant.
week with like things we needed, what things we thought with men. So remembering that this is about boys, but wearing clothes that fit and are clean, being mindful of skin, hair, and nail care, which is good for a few more young boys could do with remembering that.
And it's not hard.
No, it's really
Like
not.
most of those can be like taken care of if you just shower daily. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's that easy. The benchmark is so low, boys. You can do this.
Showering daily, who'd have thought?
I know. Shocker. I know. Shockers on the 3 p.m. takeover.
No, number 4, this one gets me. Table etiquette. Elbows off the table. Learn how to use cutlery properly, and put phones/iPads away when you're at the table.
Yeah, chew with your mouth closed as well.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
depending on the
that's a big one.
situation, don't burp out loud. I love burping
I've
out
never
loud.
burped at the dinner table.
Oh, the dinner table, no. Like,
No.
yeah, if I'm like kind of with friends and it's like funnily appropriate, I will.
yeah.
But like at a proper dinner table, no, you
No, I
hold
wouldn't
it
burp.
in.
Yeah, people that don't use cutlery properly frustrate me. Not even like holding it strange. I'm like the most basic things. Knife in right hand, fork in left hand. And if you just want to use a fork, the fork goes in your right hand.
Yeah.
People that are like, oh, I'm just going to plow away with my left hand. I'm like, no, put it in your right hand if you're just using a fork.
Plow
Or
away.
like, face your fork the right way. Or like people that hold it like in a fist. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just hold them
Who are
normally.
you attacking?
Relax. That's a good one. And number 5 was voice, which I absolutely think is important for men. Keep it.
What, they should all go on The Voice?
No, like about your voice. Keep your voice clear, strong, and articulate.
Yeah, don't mumble.
Don't mumble.
Yeah.
But I think that one's cute. So if you have sons that are in primary school, you can now send them to etiquette lessons if you want them to have all those skills. And I think that's pretty cool.
And if anyone wants to sponsor me to go to finishing school, Love it.
We're taking donations right here.
And I'll hold in all my burps, I promise. That was Black and Gold by Sam Sparrow, a song I will say when it came out a number of years ago. I was highly obsessed with that song.
I think everybody was. It was the first song that was like cool but slow for a long time.
Yeah, and I know all the words. And even now, whenever I hear it, because I forget how much I loved it, I hear it and I'm like, that song.
It doesn't kind of come back, does it? It's one of those songs that like when it was done, it was done.
Unfortunately.
You don't hear it.
To the detriment of society, for sure. But, speaking of gold, you were telling me an interesting story about, was it Bronwyn Bishop?
It was about Bronwyn Bishop.
And we were discussing like big retirement plans and money and what we do, which is a weird thing because retirement's so like not like I have
not on your mind.
Like I have super and I'm like, look how responsible I am. / I have to have super and I don't have a choice.
It's compulsory.
Yeah, and like it's good that it is because if it wasn't, I would never think about it. It's the last. Like I've written a will. That's probably about as forward thinking as I am.
That's so scary. I haven't written a will.
You should. If you have more than $5,000 worth of assets, you should.
Oh.
I took a personal finance course in uni. I know that was like really surprising to come out of my mouth, me advising people about wills and assets. I actually know what assets are now.
Well, as a financial journalist, I probably should get a will.
You should get a will.
I know all about them now, so I get one.
It's great. I've decided that you can choose like what happens when you pass away. I'm going to be a tree. I'm very excited. Because there's these urns that have like a tree seed in it and you put your ashes and you bury it and you become a tree.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be a Japanese maple leaf.
That's quite cool. Back to my story about Bronwyn Bishop. So the members of the federal electorate of McKellar gathered at DYRSL over the weekend last week to vote in the new federal MP. Mm-hmm. Bronwyn Bishop was not re-elected, which means it's the end of her political career. I don't know. I like her. She's been controversial, but it's probably a good time. No more helicopters for her. She's 73, so it's probably a good time to bow out. She is, and she still wears custom-made stilettos. Good for her.
Wow.
But it's kind of, maybe she should go and hang out with her grandkids and stuff.
I feel like I've met her.
Yeah, she came.
I think she came to a school thing once, and I got to, maybe not meet her, but I got to like, my seat was kind of close to hers. Mm. Anyway, so what was her retirement plan?
But so on the old MP scheme, they would get a pension of $200,000 a year, and that's not a thing anymore. But she still qualifies for that because she's been an MP since
to be old,
however many years ago. So she will get a pension of $200,000 a year. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, a year.
That's huge.
Yeah, so it's like less than her salary, but it's still like huge.
That's less than her salary?
Oh god, yeah, she was an MP.
What I should get into politics. I'd love to make more than $200,000 a year.
I know, but so that's her pension rate. If you had like an insane amount of money, aside from like,
are we talking retirement or like now?
Now,
okay,
because I just got me thinking about money generally, and like not that 200,000 is like an insane amount, but say you had an insane amount, and aside from like good things like charity and all that stuff, what kind of like fun material, like what kind of cool materialistic things would you do with like heaps of money if you'd earned it and it was now time to like spend it?
I'd travel.
Yeah, same.
I know it's such like a cliche, lame answer, but I would travel if I could. At my age, where I have a lot of energy and like I can do like long haul flights and not feel like crap the next day as much.
Yeah,
I would travel to all the places I wanted to and stay in hotels instead of really dodgy hostels. Not that I have, but I don't want to stay in dodgy hostels because I'd have all this money apparently. And
so you could stay in really nice places.
And like I'd pay for someone to come with me every time, and like
that's what it's.
And I'd find out like where like friends and family like their dream place they'd want to go, and I'd be like, we're going. Like
that'd be so cool. I love to be like people that are so rich. You know how in movies they have like little dogs, and when the dog poos, they'll like pick it up with like a $50 note because like they're really rich.
That's the dream.
I'm rich enough that I can pick up dog poo with like a $50 note, whoosh, in the bin. I know this sounds so weird and lazy, but if I had like an extortionate amount of money, I would get a lift.
If you had that much money, wouldn't you pay for someone else to pick up the dog poo with money instead of you picking it up?
Personal assistant. I would get a lift in my house. I just have this thing about lifts in houses. To me, it's like the ultimate. It means you've like super succeeded in life if you have a lift in your house.
You know what I would do? What I'd love? My like plan obviously would be to travel, but what I'd do is I'd buy like an apartment, gorgeous place in all the major cities I'd want to stay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like
so you had like
place
your pads in different cities.
So when I traveled, I could kind of be almost homey. I would be like Sydney, and then I'd do like somewhere in New Zealand, somewhere like a ski lodge in America somewhere. I'd have London, New York. I'd have a place like somewhere somewhere in Europe, like Germany or Paris, and just like I could like city hop and country hop, and
Yeah,
not always
that
be in
sounds cool.
hotels, because I think traveling sounds fun until you're actually going hotel to hotel and suddenly you miss home comforts.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I would have like,
I'd love
I'd be
that.
the same. I'd have like a London and a New York pad. I
And
think I'd
and
have like
a
a
country English place as well as London. Oh,
I'd have like a Greek Isles one. I'd have like a pad in Santorini or something, like overlooking the
nice.
sea.
I would buy
I'd
an
have
island.
a Paris one.
You can buy islands for like less than 20 grand. I'd buy a whole
Oh.
bunch of islands and I'd make them all like national parks and then put like my house in it.
Imagine like owning
I
an
would-
island. Does that make you like the leader of your island? Like,
Yeah,
imagine
why
if you-
not?
Like your own
Declare it its own country.
your own like jurisdiction and legal system, and like you're the only person that lives there.
town hall meeting in my living room.
Tax 0.
I feel like a while ago there was a small Italian town. I think it was a town like up in the hills that was for sale because it was like the people of the town couldn't afford like the land or something. I don't know, it was for sale.
Oh, yeah.
And my mum and I worked out that if we pulled all our assets, we could afford it.
That's so weird.
And we were so tempted
To
We'd
buy
have,
an
like,
island.
No, I think
In
no, it wasn't
Italy.
an island. I think it was like a town.
Oh,
but
that's so
you'd like
weird.
own the town or something. It was up in the hills, and the views were gorgeous. And I was very tempted to just like drop everything. And Mum was like, "You're like haven't finished uni yet." I'm like, "But I can like own a town in Italy, Mum.
That'd be so cool to say you own a town.
Don't
I
crush
gotta
my
say.
dreams."
We want to know what you would do if you had an unlimited amount of money, aside from like the good things you do. We want to know the crazy things that you would do
And
with all
we
your money.
assume you'd give a lot to charity. Like I feel like that's just like
All those
the
good
normal
things.
human reaction, which is good.
But this is the
What are the selfish things,
This
guys?
is the selfish fun material side, and we know what you would want to do.
How many Learjets would you own?
So let us know by writing on our page, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. takeover on Radio Northern Beaches. Why are you laughing at me?
Such a sudden welcome back.
Oh, sorry.
It was really loud in my headphones. It made me kind of jump. 'Cause I
It
wasn't
gave you a
prepared.
shock.
A little bit.
I'm sorry, everyone, if I
Sorry.
gave you a shock.
But welcome back. I think
That
it was,
song,
it
the
was
song
such a
kind of
mellow
makes
song.
you fall asleep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I hope you didn't fall asleep at the wheel.
I was really like mellowed out and then you just like jumped into my ears.
That's so funny. So
I'm awake now.
I was invited to a destination wedding, and it got me thinking about them. So, like, to classify to begin with, a destination wedding is where people go off overseas and get married in a destination that is neither of their home countries, with the particular goal of saving money.
I thought you meant the particular goal of getting married. I
Well,
was
that
like,
too. That too. And so, like, really popular places for
Fiji.
like Fiji, Hawaii, some tropical island-esque places are always popular for them. But it got me thinking about it, and I just was reading about it, and apparently it's roughly $17,000 for a destination wedding in Fiji with 100 people, whereas it's about $25,000 for a wedding in Australia.
Is
Like
that
a cheap wedding?
I'm assuming it's excluding flights.
No, that's including.
Really? Guess where I'm getting married? Because in my mind, I feel like destination weddings, obviously there's certain cases that this doesn't comply for, because like I think if you're coming from different countries and it's like a midpoint, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like otherwise in my mind, they're kind of slightly selfish, because you're asking people to take like more than just like
People to go really out of their way.
yeah, like because if it's I don't know, you need like a day either side kind of thing,
Yeah.
maybe a couple of extra days. So it's like something you're asking like a couple of days, the better part of a weekend. You ask people to take like their annual leave, and I don't know, that feels kind of selfish.
Yeah.
But I've never gone to a destination wedding or been invited to, so I don't really know obviously the feelings around it. This is just me like completely like unincluded third party view.
As a couple, you definitely save, because a lot of people then like tack on their honeymoon. And
Oh,
so you sort of like
yeah.
don't have to go anywhere else. And then as a bride and groom, generally you just pay for yourself and maybe like one or two other family members. And then everybody else like pays for their flights and accommodation. But then the payoff for that is like you're not like expected to bring wedding presents to a destination wedding because
Oh,
you've already
okay.
like got yourself there.
But I feel like doesn't that limit the amount of people that can come?
Yeah, because so many people say no. So destination weddings
Yeah.
usually end up being like really tiny.
But isn't that sad? Like, wouldn't you want as many of your family and friends, the people you really want to be there, and some of them can't come? Isn't that kind of sad? No,
Yeah, no, I think that would be sad. But it depends on the kind of like person you are.
I guess. So you're going to go to this Fiji wedding?
I don't know. I'm yet to decide.
Is it like barefoot on the sand? Is that
No, I don't think it's like that informal.
Okay.
But it got me thinking about it, and I was like, would you have a destination wedding?
Like I would if my to-be wed man, like, came from...
Was a handsome European.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a midpoint for both our families. That makes sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like that person who's like, we'll have a little wedding in Sydney and a little wedding in whatever country
Oh, yeah,
they're
people
from.
that do, like, 2 weddings.
But it's been nice to have, like, the idea is that, like, 2 people are becoming, like, one, and therefore, like, the families meet and become one.
Yeah, because like I say, wouldn't the second wedding be like not as exciting as the first one?
Yeah.
Because you already like
We've already done
once.
this.
And wouldn't the people in one of the countries feel gypped knowing you got there and you were like already married?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. But then, like, yeah, I think that'd be wide. But I don't know. I guess all the destination wedding places, I don't like hot weather. So the idea of getting, like, being in Fiji for that purpose, I'd be like, I'd rather be somewhere cold, and no one wants to go to, like, a place that's snowing for a wedding. Like,
That's
as
true.
a destination, like, I'm sorry, like, Norway's not a destination wedding. So,
Yeah.
well, maybe it is for me. We'll see.
You wouldn't want to get married like when it was freezing, but I'd hate to be like sweating on my wedding day.
Yeah,
That would
exactly.
be pretty horrid.
What about you? Would you destination wedding it? It sounds cheaper.
It does. Like, look, I totally didn't believe in the whole destination wedding thing in terms of it being...
Didn't believe it. I didn't think it was real.
No, in terms of it, like, being cheaper.
Destination weddings and UFOs, still a bit dubious.
No, in terms of like actually being cheaper, because in my mind I was like, how on earth can it be cheaper to like fly everything to another country?
Yeah.
And then I did.
Well, I'm
like,
sure they have like tables and stuff. Like, we brought our own tables and chairs.
all the way.
What
No,
about the
so,
minister?
like,
If you're like very religious, wouldn't you want like your minister?
I don't know.
It's like free holiday for the minister. It's like, he's like, you guys should have a destination wedding.
Oh, God.
I highly encourage a destination wedding, guys.
No, I guess it depends. If you wanted someone specific to marry you, you'd have to like invite. They'd have to like come as well. It does actually sound cheaper. Like I knew people, family friends of mine, whose great uncle was having like a second marriage or whatever, and he did it in Vegas, and he flew about 10 family members from Sydney to Vegas for this wedding, and because he booked like over 10 people or whatever, the flights were then cheaper, and then he did it like during the off season.
He got like
and all
bulk
this stuff,
discount.
and it ended up being like really ridiculously cheap. Like his whole wedding was like $8,000, and I was like, what the hell? Like, how is this like possible?
Wow.
And I was like, maybe it like can be a
Vegas,
thing.
baby.
Vegas wedding.
I changed my mind. I'm not getting married in Norway. I'm getting married in Vegas now.
I sort of get that thing when I'm going to a wedding. I like if they're far away in the sense that I'm like, oh, cool, I can go and like make a weekend of it and stay away for a couple of days. But at the same time, you're like, money, like maybe time off work, or like squishing it into full-time work. Like, I don't know. Do you find that? Do you prefer going to weddings where it takes you like half an hour to drive there and you're done?
I haven't been to very many weddings, and they've all been like, but probably half an hour away max. The last wedding I went to,
really close then.
I walked to
Oh, what?
the church. Well, it was
That's
at my local church, and I live
that's
around the
so
corner
easy.
from it now. Yeah, I literally walked there. Actually, I was running late and I ran there in heels, but because I was like, I've got time. I don't have time. I was like jogging down the street in like high heels.
That's so funny. I
But the
haven't
reception
been-
was further away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I went to a really nice wedding actually not that long ago at Monavale Golf Club. And that was the first wedding that I'd been to on the Northern Beaches, and it made an incredible backdrop for a wedding.
Really? I can
Because
imagine.
where they stand, like the golf course like drops down away from it, and you can see all of Monavale Beach like from the back. It's super pretty, and you can't see a single building, but you have like a 2K view.
Wow.
It's really, really great.
I went to this lovely wedding a couple of years ago now. Actually, their anniversary just passed.
Good for you guys.
Kim and Matt. They're so lovely. And they had their wedding up at Gunners Barracks.
Oh, that would be so cool.
It was a beautiful
I
view.
would love
and they got
that.
married like on the little veranda thing with like the view. It was gorgeous. It was really lovely.
That is really nice.
Yeah, like view goals.
Yeah. View goals. I feel like it'd be so stressful to pick where it would want to be. Like I know people that have driven around like looking for places for like 18 months before they've
Really?
booked. Yeah. And I'm like, stress.
And they're always like, or in a movies, they're always like, yeah, we have an opening in like 3 years' time.
Yeah.
You're like, how are this many people getting married?
There are some venues though that are like known to be
Like notoriously
crazy
booked out.
popular.
Yeah.
Like that reception place in Balmoral that's like on Balmoral Beach.
Oh,
That's always
yeah.
booked out like months in advance and things like that.
It's like those places that like you can never get a dinner reservation at.
Yeah. I've had a lot of weddings I'm getting invited to recently or I know are coming up are like out of Sydney and often sort of towards like the Blue Mountains or like towards the Southern Highlands or something, like because it's a lot more open area and there are a lot of like wedding venues out there and it's like out of the city so it's cheap, but then like guests have to get there.
Yeah, I went to a weekend away late last year down to the Hunter Valley, and the amount of places that was just like at sunset, you're like, imagine getting married here. Because we saw a few, it was the weekend, we saw a bunch of people getting married and couples and stuff. And we're like, imagine, like some of the views are just like breathtaking, and they'd have
It's crazy.
their wedding photos in the vineyards and
Yeah, I did that. I went to a wedding the other week in Sylvan Glen, which is like down past Bowral.
Oh,
and it was
gorgeous.
So pretty. And they had all the wedding photos at, like as the sun set, like with all like the greenery. And I was like, I want to do this.
Yes, please.
So I feel I'm pro destination wedding, as in like destination outside of Sydney, but destination not outside of New South Wales. Mini destination wedding.
I don't think it's
not like
classified-
overseas destination.
I don't think it's classified as a destination wedding then. I think it's just a road trip wedding.
road trip wedding.
If you need to make
I like the sound of that one.
If you need to make a playlist to get to the wedding, it's a road trip wedding. You're listening to the 3 p.m. Takeover with Hope and Victoria. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed a bit of banjos for the Wednesday afternoon. A little bit of Mumford and Sons.
That's such a great song.
It is. Nothing like slightly aggressive banjos.
But it's a really good song to listen to when you're feeling like angsty, but it's also a good song when you're in a good mood.
I have this theory about this whole album that it doesn't matter what emotion you're in, it heightens that emotion. So if you're feeling sad, it'll make you feel sadder but good. Like it almost helps you get through it. If you're feeling happy, you feel so pumped up. If you're angry, it makes you feel like a good
venti type of
venti anger.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's very like emotionally perfect for
that is called
every feeling.
Good music.
Yes.
Relatable to everything.
Maybe it's just the banjo, and Western like pop music hasn't discovered the emotional
ness of banjos.
Yeah. Maybe we're really missing out. And Mumford and Sons is like struck gold. Anyway. Hey, Hope, look at the time. Do you know what it's time for?
Suburb Focus.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited because you know we're heading to today.
Where?
We're heading, inching our way down.
Very slowly.
Down the
Still in
beaches.
Pittwater Council.
We are in Bayview.
Oh.
Lovely Bayview.
I like Bayview. It's a very pretty spot with very nice restaurants.
Now, can you guess where its name is taken from?
You can see a view.
Yes, across Pittwater, across the bay.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's like Newport was named because they made a Newport. I don't mind them calling Bayview because you have a view of the bay.
Who thought?
So the story goes that Governor Arthur Phillip took a short journey of exploration from Manly to this area in 1788.
Oh, so quite old.
And he named it Pittwater after William Pitt, the Prime Minister in the UK at the time.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah, which I didn't, but I was like, oh, of course, Victoria. Like why Newcastle's called Newcastle. Hello, Victoria. And then Captain John Hunter prepared a map of it. He showed all the bay areas in 1792. And
that's quite early.
But the first settlers weren't until 1821.
Okay, a while later.
Yeah, which is much like another
30 years after.
Yeah. So Patrick Bryan, he built a house there. He was the first settler, and it's now the current site of the Bayview Golf Links.
Oh, the Bayview Golf Links is so pretty.
Well, he picked a good spot.
He did such a nice
Good
view.
old Patrick. And interestingly, there are these old tank traps that...
Tankers in war?
Yeah, World War II tank traps. You can find them off Pittwater Road on the water side of Bayview. And they're like remnants of the World War II defence along Sydney's northern beaches.
That's so cool.
It's like when
I
we
love
found
things
out
like
ages
that.
ago that they had the cannon.
The cannon in Clairville, was it? Yeah, that's so crazy.
And it is one of the least populated suburbs in the northern beaches, according to the 2011 census.
Oh, yeah, it is
Yeah.
quite... Well, I guess relative to size, because obviously there's only 100 people in Lovett Bay, but that's because there are hardly any houses there.
Yeah. And a lot of
Bayview
these areas
is
have
just-
sections that cut into the national park, so it makes a lot more sense.
Bayview is so incredibly inaccessible that I feel that's why there's no hope for you in Bayview unless you drive.
It makes it
there's
more
really
exclusive.
not. It's so exclusive.
And they have heritage houses as well, like
Do they?
cottages and acreage, which is really cool. I didn't know about that. And it's got some of the highest prices for northern Sydney for blocks of land.
Not surprising.
And one of the spots in Bayview that I know quite well is Rowan Reserve, which is a doggy beach.
Oh, yeah, I know the one.
I've taken my dog there once and he didn't really like it. The half the time we spent there, he stood there barking at the ocean for no reason. There weren't even he was just barking at the
wasn't for
ocean.
him.
And then when he was in the water, I've never had him look so confused and what am I doing in the water? Why am I in the water? I don't understand what's going on. He was just kind of paddling and Oh, bless his little soul. We haven't really
That's
been
so
back
funny.
because I don't think he had a very good time.
Roland Reserve is really popular for like council events. Pittwater Council always run like stalls there and like different days and whatever else. So like it's good for like community organisations and stuff.
Yeah. When I went
is good.
with my dog, actually a bunch of us brought our dogs. There was a coffee cart there and I was like, that must be making a killing.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, because there was like a queue and everything. I was like, very good business, very well
Good thing about a
played.
coffee cart in like a quiet area is you're like, even if you don't feel like a coffee, you're like, oh, there's a cart, I may as well.
Yeah.
So like you,
I'm drawn in.
yeah, you like always got to go away. But that's Bayview. So for all our Bayview listeners, send us a message.
Send us a view
Good
of
on
the
you
bay.
for living in Bayview with your view of the bay all the time.
Yeah. So that wraps up our show for the week. We hope you guys have enjoyed our topics, which have been very news-based, which I
They
don't
have
mind
been,
at all.
which
They're
is fun. It's good to be a
really
little bit more newsy. And if you want your awesome afternoon to continue, keep listening to Radio Northern Beaches because Jeff Williams is coming up right after us. So stay tuned.
Yeah. And we will see you next week / on Friday for the repeat. Otherwise, have a great end of the week, a great weekend, a great start to the week, a great everything in between.
Everything. Bye.
We'll see ya.